Hi, I'm Sharon Sumner, Business Applications MVP. Christmas hat, Christmas jumper, must be a Christmas video. Okay, this year I was part of the Microsoft Power Apps community call for the Christmas event, and you can see these fantastic ladies behind me have all been part of that event with me. And the feature that we put together this year was about being naughty or nice and what happens thereafter. So during the presentation, I showed a little bit of detail, it was only a quick call, about a Power VA, that virtual assistant that I developed for my part of the presentation. And then I was followed by a fantastic Power Apps present production line from Clarissa and Jessie, who did some Power BI integration for us. So I wanted to just elaborate on my part a little. Some people have come back to me and said, Sharon, can you just give us a little bit more information about how the app works and how we can get to it? So that's what I'm doing today. The other ladies, I'm sure, will record their bit separately as well. So if you've seen the basic presentation, I'm going to repeat this a little, but otherwise let's crack on with what I covered on that community call. So, naughty or nice? Great question, and one that we all need to answer. He's making a list, he's checking it twice. Or is he? Now he's got a new assistant. His Power virtual assistant is going to help him decide who's naughty and nice. So, naughty or nice? Great question, and one that we all need to answer. He's making a list, he's checking it twice. Or is he? Now he's got a new assistant. His Power virtual assistant is going to help him decide who's naughty and nice. So how do we go about it? Well, step one, take the quiz. So to find out if you're naughty or nice, we need to ask you some questions, and that means that we need some personal details. So this is just a quick picture of the Power Virtual Agent that I put live to be able to test whether you're naughty or nice. To be able to help out, we have the community take part during the call and actually take the quiz. So let me show you where that is and how you can take that yourself. So if we start on my blog and you click up in the top right hand corner here, it says naughty or nice. If you click that, you'll come to the page that I'm on below. And if we scroll down, you'll recognise this slide at the top. And then down here is the virtual agent. You can't join the call anymore, so please don't try. So if we go into the naughty or nice app, you'll be able to see that we can ask questions and start a conversation. So if we just say hello, the app replies and says we need to ask you some information. So if we give it a name, let's be Ellie today. And then he's going to ask us some more details. Doesn't really matter where we are in the country, but it might. You might want to decide that where somebody is determines their naughty or niceness. That's up to you. And what we're doing is we're simply going through some steps in the Power Virtual Agent to ask the questions that are going to help us come to an answer of whether you're naughty or nice. So please do go through this on the page here. It's still going to be live all the way through Christmas and the New Year. I may even leave it there longer so that you can have a play. It's not easy on this screen to show you all of the answers to the questions, but we're saying, do you always say please and thank you? Some of them are cheeky answers, beware of the cheeky answers. And some of them are looking for you to give an answer about your personality and how you go about in your daily life answering these questions. So, what's the nicest thing you have ever done? Maybe it's serve Thanksgiving dinner, or buy lemonade from a lemonade stand and then drink it. Or in this case, I can't think of anything. So let's just pick that. Do you use profanities in your everyday speech? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Only when you get mad, or maybe never. So let's pick never. And we're going to keep answering the questions. Now at this point, we only put a few questions in to demo the functionality. It's calculating, and it's decided that Ellie is nice. And it then gives us the option of which present that we would like, which has to be a diamond ring, right? But purely because there isn't a Tesla on there. Once we get our gift selection, we then get a nice little link to help us just work out when our countdown is till Christmas. So it's currently 3 days, 10 hours, 45 minutes and 3 seconds to Christmas. You can see I've done this quite last minute after the presentation went out. So the results of the quiz then are going to come back in one of two ways. So we saw it come back as nice, Or we could have been naughty, in which case we're a bit cheeky and we give a message to say you might want to check out these 23 ways to get onto Santa's Nice List blog. Just saying. Interestingly, I couldn't put a hashtag, which was an attempt to put in here. So the hashtag isn't recognised as a character. Just some fun. So we also want to handle some known offenders, and if any of you know Charles Sterling or John Levesque, you'll know why I picked them to be our known offenders. So the question with the Power Virtual Agent is just how you go about handling the exceptions or the workarounds that you want within your feedback. So having asked the question, how are we going to handle these exceptions that we want to give a slightly different answer? In this case, no questions needed. We know who you are. You're on the naughty list. Refer to the appeals procedure at weseeyouwhileyou'resleeping.com, which doesn't exist. But to be able to put these known offenders in, because it isn't a massive list, or not people that I know anyway, then we're just going to put in these 2 exceptions. So we're going to use an if statement for that. Let's show you that in play in the actual Power Virtual Agent itself. So if we jump into the Naughty and Nice app and we go to the start and look at the canvas for that, we can see that the problem with an if statement is that it's soon going to become too unwieldy and too wide. And you can see here that we're going down the messages and we get to this name condition. Let me just turn that off. Okay. So you can see it's actually quite wide already, because we've got 2 naughty people and 2 nice people. One, of course, being me, and the other, I don't know if you caught it there, was Brian Dang, who I'm assured is very nice. He is, he's lovely. So having declared who the naughties are going to be, we then need to create a topic to redirect them to. So within the naughties, we've pushed that to a topic based on the entry of those names. So we don't need a trigger phrase. People are going directly to the list. And if we look at the canvas, we can see that it's just a static message. So it's not personalized. We didn't pass their name through any of that. We could have done. We didn't for this particular example. And so that's how we've done that. So that what you have to think about when you're designing a Power Virtual Agent, and as I discussed on the call, the design takes longer than the actual build. I think this entire app took about 45 minutes, an hour to build, all in. And that's because I was making some of those decisions on the fly. If you had designed this to begin with, you can make these really, really quickly. So you can see we've got 4 conditions, and then everything else is going to take the name and start moving them through the process, the quiz that we took to find out if we were naughty or nice. And that's how we've designed it to work with these exceptions and handling those few known exceptions. So if we jump back again, and I'll go back out to the presentation. Oh no, I'll show you the Nice Peeps. So the Nice Peeps is just going to give us a message and this time we are using the name, and we're using a flow to go and grab the gift choices. I'll show you that in a little while, but it shows you that it just says consider it done at the end. If I jump back to the presentation, you'll see how I handled that. So when I put in the name Sharon Sumner, and it's case sensitive, so it had to be exactly as Sharon Sumner, then it looked at my little bias and knew that I was on the good list, nice list. So you obviously rock, so it's straight to the gift choice for you. So then it took me to the gift choice where I picked my diamond ring. So that's one way of understanding the input from the virtual agent's point of view and redirecting you to another topic, another bespoke message. So we had an if statement with 4 cases and an everything else. 2 of them went to the naughty list, 2 of them went to the nice list, both of which we handled as a redirect to another topic. So we could have done lots more with it once we got to that topic, but we just handled it as a redirect to give us a different message in this example. And knowing your audience too. So thinking about the other way that you could have handled that, what we could have done is we could have done a redirect to the topic without an if statement. And this is important. So when you look at any of the trigger words within a Power Virtual Agent, at any point, if somebody is getting cross or if somebody is putting in a trigger word that you know is going to take them down a certain route, you can immediately take them off to a different topic. And I'll show you how this works. But in essence, this little Easter egg, or whatever you want to call it, instead of saying hello, Santa would obviously say ho, ho, ho. So when Santa comes in, we say, hey Santa, let's dance, and we take him off to his Christmas songs holiday music list. So let's show you how we did that, which is slightly different. So this time, if we jump into the canvas on the start, we can see that we have this Secret Santa with a trigger word that's going to get triggered. So we won't actually see it in that canvas on start, but if we reset the bot and then we start again, if we were to put ho 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 at any time, we would get the Secret Santa message, the Secret Santa topic. Even to the degree, I'll just show you that that worked, even to the degree that it could be mid-question. So you should, and I haven't in this one, you should handle what happens after the end of that statement. So you would put some nice stuff on the end. In this one, if I just carry on through the normal thread, so if we start with hello, and we're mid-question, right? So let me just start that again. So we've said hello and it's asking for our name. Now if at this point we've already put in Bob, it's asking us for our country and region. So we get a little bit further through and we're at the questions. Now if we put in ho ho ho, it's going to give us our Secret Santa Easter egg, but you can see that it's taking us straight back to the question. So that might be your intention, to have that just interject like that, or you could do any of these things here where you go to another topic or show a different message or end the conversation, etc. at the end of that Easter egg content. So if we'd got to a point where somebody was getting particularly fractious in a customer support situation, it might be that we want to take them straight to an agent or something similar to that. In this case, we just wanted to bring up the playlist and then carry on. So let's have a look at these flows in some detail. So if we go into the virtual agent and we use the start, which is our main topic, and we have a look in this authoring canvas, and we use this as the shortcut to get to our Power Automates. So they're created in the context of the Power Virtual Agent. You literally create them on the fly in here, but obviously it just does jump out to Power Automate to actually make that happen. So as you can see, let's follow along, and then when we get to the Power Automate, you'll see it appear. So we're currently in the location question, and you'll see that as you're doing this test bot, it is highlighting exactly where we're at in the Q&A so that you can see where we get to. So as we get further down the questioning, here we are. So we've got the Q&A, and you can see, I'm just going to hit random question answers here. And you can see each of these questions with its answers, how they've been constructed. It's all done in line. Now we could have bought these Q&A from a different data source. We could have ranked them differently, but what we've done is just literally gathering the data, putting it into a variable, and then using the Power Automate to do the calculation. That was a bit quick. It jumped through there. So let's scroll back up again and go back to that Power Automate. And here it is. We've got get gift choices, but first we went here. So where we have done the PVA to the CDS, and what that flow is, oops, scrolling. What this flow does, as you can see above, is it takes all of these variables as inputs and calculates on them. So if we click view the flow details, that then takes us straight off to Power Automate so that we can, it's regular screen, so that we can now edit this flow. Okay, so what you can see at the top here is we've got the Power Virtual Agents where we're bringing all of the inputs. So what you have to do is set up each of these variables and what it is that we're bringing in, okay? So what we're then doing is we are initializing our score variable and some other quick variables, and we are just going through each question. And if it's yes on this side, you can see that we are adding a value of 2, and if that one was a no, it was a 1. So you make your decisions about those questions as you go through, and then at the bottom here we're going to add up and give you a respective answer. And literally I've just done this on yes no, so there's nothing clever in the quiz side of things here other than Power Automate, assigning to variables, and then giving us a result back. We're then creating a record in CDS called responses. It always gives you the ability to add that to CDS, but we needed this in CDS for Clarissa to do her Power App. And you can see that we are returning to the Power Virtual Agent the answer and the response ID, so the My ID. Now, the reason that we're passing the ID back again is to enable us to do a little bit of an update later on once we've made the gift choice. So that's just to be able to have the variable into the Power Virtual Agent. So if we keep scrolling down then, we're going to come to the next Power Virtual Agent where we are doing that gift choice, which was over here. So if we open the flow again, so what we're going to see this time is that the gift choices are coming from we're not feeding anything from PV8, so we didn't add an input, but what we're doing is we're just going and getting the list choices from a recipes entity table, not quite sure what to call it these days, from CDS, or rather Common Data Service as it's called as the connector, but actually the Dataverse. We are starting an array and then we're putting each of those gifts into that array. And then what we're going to do is just simply give that back to the Power Virtual Agent to be able to display those actual gift values on the screen. Fortunately, we can't put these gift values that we've passed back into the pick list. We've been through all of these types of variables that you can pick here. Number was an idea for a while, but actually the best thing to do is to pass it back as text and to handle that text inside the Power Automate. So yes, my Christmas wish was please let us pass these in as values. So we've put this into a variable called myGiftChoice. And so this flow here, if we open that one up, where we're going to update the gift choice back to the Dataverse record is, again, it's overcomplicated for what it needs to do, but it's effectively repeating the previous one. So we've pulled in the text version of the gift choice and we've made sure that we've cast that to a string, and we're then going to take that string and make it into an integer. And let's not forget that we also passed in the ID, which we're going to have a bit later on. So you can see here, we're just casting that to an integer, and then we are going to take one away because don't forget gift item number 3 in an array will be gift item number 2 because we have the 0 record. So we are then going to go to the list records and we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to create an array. We're going to go to the list that gives us each of the gifts, and we're going to do the apply to each to actually feed those variables into the array. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work out which number it is that we've got in our hand and assign that. So we're now going to put that variable into the gift choice and then get the responses so that we make sure that we've got our record in our hands, which we're going to grab by the ID that we brought back in. And then we're going to update that record with both the choice of the gift. I think that's all we're updating in here. Yeah, we're just updating the choice of the gift. And then there is nothing to return back to the Power Virtual Agent other than that we're done. So what that does is it takes your gift choice. If you pick the diamond ring, it's now putting that onto your Dataverse record and using these two IDs, gift choice and your record ID, and then it's returning you back a message to be able to give a nice thanks very much, and here, go and see how many sleeps there are till Christmas. And that's really the complexity of the flows that we've used in here. Like I say, this is a really simple solution. And I would just encourage you to go and find out if you are naughty or if you are nice. And a pro tip down the bottom there, nice people, hit like and subscribe. So please do. And a really happy Christmas, everybody. And I hope that we can find some joy in these lockdown times and at least have a short break from what it is that we're doing on a daily basis. So my very best wishes to you for Christmas and a happy new year. And let's hope 2021 is everything that we hope it's going to be. Lovely to see you. Bye.